What's going on, guys, and welcome back to the channel. I'm sure you guys have seen the title of this video. And so today we're going to dig into two different ways to use Keeper Product Finder, the information in Keeper Product Finder as an additional resource to source products for your online arbitrage business. And so these are probably going to be two that you haven't seen before or thought to use in this specific way. So the first one, we are going to dig into the top seller list, right? You've probably all seen this top purple title header, right? But you never thought to look into or explore what actually each of these pages do. And so we are going to start with this top seller list, and in its generic, in the initial view, it's giving us the top 1,000 sellers across all categories, across all brands, across Amazon's platform, right? Not super beneficial, not super valuable in this initial state. However, like most of Keepa, we can tinker with it, add filters, and really construct a view that's way more meaningful, way more valuable in our online arbitrage businesses. So the first thing we're going to do is adjust this to 50,000. It's going to take a little bit to update, but ultimately we're going to see now the top 50,000 sellers across all brands, categories, etc. on Amazon's platform. Still not very much valuable. However, if you could see selling primarily category brand, we can actually add filters to this view to construct something way more interesting. And so what I want you guys to do, and so you could actually filter on any particular brand that you want, right? So in this case, we could just play with Nike, but you can do this with any brand, category, whatever you want to do, right? So what I want you guys to do is actually go through your catalog, go through your past quarter, 6 months worth of data, and identify your top 3 to 5 brands that you've been selling in, right? A lot of you guys are probably doing a lot of clothing and apparel, Nike, Puma, Adidas, Under Armour, things like that. So you could use and identify the top sellers in these particular brands. And the reason why this is valuable is it just creates a flood of products into your product pipeline, right? So if we can click, we see all sorts of data like lifetime reviews, ratings, that sort of thing, right? So we can start to identify maybe the size of these particular sellers, right? We see the number of listings right here. We can see the amount of reviews some of these sellers are getting, and you can see the percentage of someone's catalog that corresponds with Nike, right? But if we start to click into any of these actual products, we are going to see pretty quickly a whole bunch of Nike products that we can start to reverse from, right? And you guys have probably heard me talk about this before. I prefer reverse sourcing just because it allows us to reverse engineer products, map products back to a whole number of different sites, right? The unfortunate reality of manual sourcing, right, is if I go to Nike.com, I'm only restricted to seeing Nike.com products, and also it's just harder to disqualify, right? It takes a little bit longer to identify sales rank opportunities, competition, buy box stability, all those sorts of things. However, being that we've identified the top 119 Nike sellers, which have probably hundreds and hundreds of Nike products on this page, right? We are in any of these sellers, any of these storefronts. Now we have hundreds of Nike products that we can qualify pretty quickly, right? So if I simply just start with this Nike hood, right? I can see in that bottom right of my screen, I can see the trending of the buy box, sales rank, all that sort of thing. It's pretty apparent that this is going to be a winter seasonal item. Obviously, the sales rank is pretty maxed out May, June, July, but now in Q4, sales rank starts to drop, right? That's what we're looking for. We can easily identify the price point. So now price point's probably somewhere between like 45 and 50, right? Maybe with somewhat of a ceiling at 50. So if I click in here, again, $49.99 is current buy box. We can see the trending. We can make all these sort of deductions pretty quickly. And the best part is if I just hit this Google button here, now I can map it back to 5, 10, 15, 20 different sellers or sites, right, that have or are carrying this product. Potentially adding some sites I haven't heard of, right? Maybe I haven't heard of Runners Plus. Maybe I haven't heard of ProDirect Sports or Soccer.com or Nike or something like that, right? So always is the case. When I start with Amazon, I can qualify quicker. I can reverse source. I can reverse map it back to sites I probably haven't even heard of before. SVS Sports, Sports Unlimited, right? I'm identifying a lot of different opportunity that may benefit me later down the line, right? And the value, the benefit of just identifying with smart sellers is it's going to be an evergreen resource. When their teams add products to these catalogs, I can see them, right? Also, I have now thousands of warm Nike leads that all I got to do is find a place to buy it. The cool thing, especially with like a Nike, like an OA, um, and like an OA-able site, OA-able product, is that most of these sellers are probably getting these products from sites you have access to, right? Same sort of strategies you're using. Maybe they just used an extra discount code or a coupon code or took advantage of a sale, right? That has been, in the past. All we're doing is finding and identifying price point arbitrage. We've already have the network, the market of products that we can look through. Out of all these products, out of the 119 sellers, probably consist of most of the Nike products we'll ever find, right? Because these are probably pretty smart sellers. All we're now left with is to find places to buy them at a reasonable price. And so this instantly is going to give you and kind of flood your product pipeline with all sorts of interesting products that we can now source through. And of course, this works with any brand, right? Maybe you have, maybe your Under Armour or beauty products, something like that. I would do this exercise with your top 3, 5, 10 brands, and instantly you're going to be flooded with products within that brand that are probably pretty interesting. Same thing with category. Maybe you have a specific category. You could do this with any particular niche that you have kind of refined and kind of drilled down to. So that's number one, right? The top seller list, cater it to whatever you are doing in your business, and you're going to have a whole lot of potential leads to work with. The next one is if we kind of navigate over here to the product best sellers, right? If we, the first step is just clicking whatever category you have had success with. So maybe it's pet supplies, maybe it's patio, lawn and garden. In this case, we will mess with grocery and gourmet food. So it's going to take a little bit longer to generate this view, but ultimately what we're going to see, and if we navigate down to the 1,000 or 5,000, right? We don't want to do that because it's going to take a while, right? But so I would navigate to the 5,000 row view, and you see on this top here we have sales rank intervals. You have current 30-day, 90-day, 180-day, and historical. The interesting piece here is if we click on our historical, it'll give us the historical sales rank within the given time parameter that we want. And so this is going to be cool and super valuable for the seasonal sourcing that you want to do. Maybe we're interested in Halloween, Thanksgiving grocery products, right? We can navigate to the months of interest, right? So in that case, maybe it's October or September, right? So we can use October 2023. And we can start to, again, drill down to a subset of data, a subset of results that we're interested in that are valuable for our particular purpose. With our purpose here being Halloween, Thanksgiving, grocery items, we can start to manufacture that view. So the cool thing here is, given obviously the historical view, we can use the 30-day drop percentage as sort of like a velocity metric. We can cater, right? We can do a range of maybe it's 75% to 25% in that range. And so what that does, if I do it right, we can start to kind of construct a view that's meaningful. What I would do is I would probably set like a minimum historical sales rank, probably at like greater than 5 or 10,000 or something like that, just because we're not going to want to source like the fastest movers, because Amazon's probably on a ton of these. What we could also do instead of that, we can come over here to the Amazon filter and set a no price filter to their price. Or we can even span it out for 90 days. We can set no price. And so that essentially eliminates Amazon from our competition scope. So now what we're left with is a results of, again, sales ranks that are moving. And so this is going to be pertinent to whatever specific month we're interested in. It's going to generate results that are catered to that particular month, right? So maybe we're looking for Easter stuff. So we would go back to April. And all we're doing is just finding interesting products that, again, we're going to use to reverse source and find sellers that correspond with that, right? Sellers that are doing these sorts of seasonal things that we want to learn from, as well as specific products. So they ultimately, right, given these two kind of procedures, techniques, what we want to do is start to build out our interesting storefront kind of pipeline, right? So we can have folders maybe on our bookmark, right, that says, okay, these are a bunch of Easter related storefronts that I've deemed interesting. Maybe we want to have one for Q4, maybe Halloween and Thanksgiving, like we just kind of went through, right? We should have folders of sellers that we can continue to use as an evergreen resource pertaining to different things. So maybe it's Nike brand. We can go through those storefronts. Maybe it's Easter, maybe it's Thanksgiving, maybe it's Halloween, maybe it's Christmas. We can develop a kind of like a resource catalog of sellers that we can continue to use as an evergreen resource. So when they add products, we can be identified and learn from the products that they are adding to their catalog. So that's going to be it for today's video. Hope you enjoyed. Hope you found value in these 2 additional resources, 2 additional tactics that you can now use and cater it to your own business. If you did, leave a comment, like the video, and subscribe to the channel. We'll see you in the next one.